Hi guys, it's me, Johanna. But you all probably know me as Janna. So yes, hi. I'll be narrating this video. Because why not, right? Here's our story. Well, let's start with mine. I was born on June 18, 1991 to Wilfredo and Gertrudis Estrada, just after Mount Pinatubo erupted. Because of this, my parents almost named me Ashley. Good thing they stuck with Janna. That's more me. I grew up alongside my Ate Jolene, who is 2 years older than me, and who loved to tease me and bully me, then and now. As a kid, I was playful, determined, and diligent, and according to my family, super clumsy. I swear, they'll never get tired of telling stories about my clumsiness then. Growing up, our household was pretty chill. It's where love was shown through acts of service, through showing up, through care, and through consistency. Where love wasn't always the loudest, but it was always there. My parents encouraged us to try new things growing up. So I got enrolled in classes in piano, swimming, taekwondo, and computers. Plus joined contests for declamation, singing, spelling bees, taekwondo, and more. I'm not good at most of those now, but the important thing was I learned to explore different things and always just give my best in whatever I'm doing. Which I think I took with me as I grew up and eventually tried out other hobbies, like being a radio DJ in college, a spin instructor before the pandemic, a K-pop fangirl involved in projects, and a powerlifting enthusiast. But yeah, I spent the rest of my childhood and teenage years determined to balance academic responsibility and fun. I was a diligent student, but I also liked to have fun and enjoy the small joys that made growing up memorable, like binging movies and TV shows, fangirling over my favorite idols, following the NBA and UAAP basketball, and always hanging out with friends. Friends that I met in high school in St. Paul, college in Ateneo, and at work, at all the different companies I've been at. As I got older, that drive stuck with me. I focused on my studies and then eventually on my career and building a life that I could be proud of. By my 20s, life felt steady. I was happy with who I was, enjoying life on my own terms, confident, content, but quietly hoping that someday I'd find someone to share it with. I didn't know it then, but my story was about to take a turn. Enter JV. John Vincent was born August 12, 1991 to Jesus and Erlene Gan, the youngest out of 3 siblings with an older brother JJ and an older sister Jesselyn. JV described himself as mischievous growing up, especially being the youngest and having wide age gaps between him and his siblings. But it was still a blissful childhood filled with happy memories of playing with his siblings, cousins, nieces, and friends, traveling to different parts of the world, and just spending time with his loved ones, especially during the holidays. Like most young boys his age, JV grew up loving playing with toys, video games, and board games. There was always something new for him to try, and even until now, he has remained passionate about these. You can ask him about his vast board games collection as well. It's very impressive. JV is also a big sports fan. Of course, there's basketball, in which he enjoys playing and watching as well. From the NBA to local college basketball, and every other leagues in between, he's always up to speed with what's happening. He's also a fan of football, especially of Real Madrid, and F1, where Ferrari is his team. And he also enjoys watching the WWE. He has always been curious, imaginative, and independent from an early age. He learned to stand on his own, to stay grounded, and to always be humble and kind. JV learned to observe, to listen, and to move through life thoughtfully. Even then, he was becoming the kind of person who shows up for the people he cares about. Not loudly, not for show, but fully. In his 20s, he's remained independent and happy in his own way. He was content living life on his own standards, always working on improving different aspects of his life, and just overall striving to be a good person. But he was also looking for the right partner to share his life with. In 2018, we both swiped right on Bumble. What made me swipe right wasn't just a photo. It was a word he used to describe himself. Solivagant. I didn't even know what it meant, so I asked him. That one question turned into conversations that flowed easily, about random things and meaningful ones too. Without realizing it, something new had quietly begun. After months of talking online, we finally met up, and JV surprised me with some gifts. I had casually mentioned that I wasn't really into flowers. Well, not then anyway. So instead, he brought me cheese crackers, chocolates, and a bracelet in Ateneo colors. It wasn't about the gifts. It was the thought behind it. He listened. He remembered. And that's who he's always been. At first, I was guarded. Falling in love again wasn't easy for me. But JV was patient. He showed up consistently, gently, and without pressure. He even went old school and asked if he could court me. Somewhere between dates, shared meals, and airport pickups, I realized he wasn't just passing through my life. He was intentionally choosing to be a part of it. In January 2019, during a simple dinner date, something shifted. I felt it clearly, the certainty, the quiet kind of spark that doesn't rush, but stays. When he asked me to be his girlfriend in February, I said no, but only because I didn't want a February anniversary. He tried again in March while we were stuck in traffic with me driving home to go to the bathroom. And I said yes. Somehow, that moment was perfectly us. Very random, but comfortable. From there, we grew together. We learned how to show up through busy schedules, long-distance dates from Valenzuela to Pasig, and even a pandemic that turned anniversaries into Zoom calls and dinners into deliveries. We supported each other's passions, cheered for each other's teams, especially for Ateneo, shared countless coffees, meals, movies, and conversations that made ordinary days special. Our travels took us to Singapore, the first time to watch the F1 Grand Prix, and another to watch Blackpink's concert. And finally, Japan in November 2024. On our very first day there, in a small hotel room with luggage scattered everywhere, JV got down on one knee and asked me to marry him. It was private, yet still kind of perfect and completely us. And you know what? I don't even remember what he said. I just remember saying yes. For the rest of that trip, JV would whisper his proposal at different scenic spots, places he thought about proposing at, but ultimately knowing that the intimate proposal was something we both preferred. But a couple of months later, back in Ayala Triangle, he proposed once more, this time with the actual engagement ring, because this one didn't make it in time for the Japan trip. And this time, we were surrounded by friends who captured the moment. And somehow, both proposals felt just right. For us, being together isn't about grand gestures. It's about knowing we're each other's person and making each other better. We accept each other fully, support each other endlessly, and love each other in a way that feels steady, safe, and real. Together, we imagine slow mornings, shared routines, quiet days at home, and a lifetime of choosing each other again and again. Looking back, our stories have always been leading us here. Today, we choose each other in every moment, facing life's ups and downs together. With each new day, we reaffirm our commitment to share both the ordinary and the extraordinary as partners on this journey. The end.